Welcome to Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Lisa. We're sisters walking together on a journey of faith, seeking God and growing through the quiet stirrings of midlife.
And to that question, we all find ourselves asking, what now, Lord?
Through honest conversations, shared stories, and practical Catholic wisdom, we explore how God refines us in changing seasons.
Strengthening our minds in truth, steadying our hearts in faith, and deepening our spirits in Christ.
Whether you're navigating a transition, discerning what's next, or simply longing to grow deeper,
you don't have to do it alone.
This is a place where we grow together, learning to trust God more deeply and to step into who He is calling us to be in this season.
Let's begin.
Welcome back to Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Shelley. And today we are talking about something that, Lisa, a lot of women, including us, are experiencing right now. It's graduation season.
It is. And I think all three of us, you, me, and our brother, we all have someone graduating this May, different schools, moving onwards, upwards. It kind of feels like this past week has been nonstop. Pictures, parties, caps and gowns, maybe some tears that have shown up, and definitely some moving.
I know, Lisa, it's been such a strange mixture of emotions because with each of these graduations, you're deeply proud. And of course, you're extremely grateful. And, they've passed. Yay, they're out. And yet there's also this little quiet ache, because they're growing up and they're moving into a new stage of life. And for some of us, they're moving onward to their new adult life. And that comes with a lot of new independence. But, graduation isn't really also, it's not just a milestone for our children. It's also a milestone for us as mothers.
I agree. Something changes. And I don't think that anyone prepares us for that part. I don't think there's anything to prepare for that. We spend years being needed every day. The lunches, the driving, the homework, the worrying about their friendships and praying them through their struggles. And then one day you realize your role has shifted. It's not ended, it's just changed. I think many women quietly ask themselves questions that most of us don't say out loud. Some of us do, especially, how do I let go without losing their connection? Because mothers don't start loving, praying, hoping, worrying, or caring just because our kids become adults.
Right. But we do begin learning this new kind of motherhood, one that's less about managing their lives and more about trusting them with their own lives. It's less about us being able to control the outcomes, which, we're not used to. and instead, it's more about accompanying our children. And we do that often with prayer, with encouragement, and sometimes just by being present with them in their lives. And honestly, I think that requires just as much faith as those early baby infant motherhood years did.
I would say maybe even more at times. So today, dear listener, we're going to be talking about recognizing this step, this transition of our children becoming more independent and taking on new roles, and how we can bless them rather than cling too tightly.
At least you got to let go.
Let go.
And so, dear listener, we'll be encouraging women who maybe are feeling a little bit emotional this graduation season. And what you're experiencing there is normal. And remember, too, that God is present in this transition because your motherhood is not over. God's just simply inviting you into a new season of it.
So wherever you are today, whether you're sending off a graduate, missing the busy years, or trying to figure out what this next chapter looks like, we're glad you're here.
Yes. So let's begin. All right, Lisa, we already sort of teased this, our motherhood isn't ending just because one graduates from college and goes off onto a new job, or high school and goes into college, or goes to high school. It's not disappearing. It's just changing. You could say it's maturing in a way.
Well, it definitely changes because they're not your for me, when they leave college and go on to their adult lives, they still need you, but it's very different in how you're needed and the authority you have in their lives. I say to influence, you don't tell them, you kind of gently help them when they need it. So it is very different, and it can be kind of daunting. It's the unknown, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it used to be that they'd come to you for advice or you'd see what they're kind of stepping into and you'd be able to kind of go in there. Hey, did you remember to do this? Did you remember to do that? Check, check, check. Right. And what happens is, because you and I both have other adult children, but you move from managing their lives. Do you have your homework? Did you put gas in your car? And it becomes more of a mentor.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Yeah. Though I do still sometimes ask if they have gas. If they're going on a long drive. Yeah, I would say learning to accompany them, like rather than direct their direction, because some of it is just being there for when they have questions or they still come to you. It's just different. They don't want you to go first and tell them what to do. They want you to be there when they need you. So it's much more of a waiting and being present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of, feeling like you have this authority over them, like you should be telling them, it's more of a wait and see if they come to you. And then hope my girls aren't listening to this, finding simple ways to influence them rather than to come across more authoritative. You will do this. And it's like, well, how are you? You ask questions, well, have you thought of this? Or, so what are you thinking about there? And how does that going for you?
But then another one is accepting that we are not in control of their lives anymore.
That's a hard one.
They need to be making their own choices. And that is a very hard one because you're in all of these old habits and pathways, we'll say. And then suddenly it's like, oh no, I don't get to be, that's not my role anymore. And sometimes they'll let you know very clearly.
Oh yeah, they will. So, and it's hard when you watch them doing something that you necessarily wouldn't have chosen for them, or you're like, I am not convinced that that's the best decision or pathway at the moment. But like you said, you got to kind of learn to like hold that criticism, hold that wanting to rush in there and fix something for them.
Oh, yeah.
You just kind of have to say, okay. And you can tell I'm trying to speak about something that's ongoing in my family right now, but I don't dare say it because
you can't.
What if my daughters do listen to it? And they'll be like, Mom, we know what you're talking about.
That's a whole nother issue though, is as they become adults, you have to respect their privacy even more. You can't just mommy blog or mommy podcast about their lives because they are their own people and we have to respect their privacy. Hence not posting as many pictures on social or detailing every moment of their lives anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that when they first go off to college or they first go off to that first job, you wonder, are you going to lose contact with them? How do you stay in touch? How do you maintain that connection? But you and I talked about it earlier that very often that connection feels deeper when your children feel respected. I remember when I went away to college, and maybe you had a similar experience, that mom and dad didn't really tell me what to do. I mean, it was hard. They were in another state and, long distance cost money back then. It wasn't, text or cell phone. It was call me every Sunday.
I think that was a benefit, though, to not have the immediacy because we had to be resilient on our own. And I mean, we made mistakes and did stupid stuff that we probably should have known better, or they would have told us we should know better. And I think this stepping back for us today in this time frame, it's good for them. It's good for us. It's good for them. But it's hard because it's not what we're used to.
Yeah. It was definitely easier when, you knew mom and dad couldn't see your texts or your social media.
Well, you had,
I had no idea.
way of knowing.
Did you go to class this week? Yeah, I went to class this week. How are your grades? I don't know.
I don't think they ever asked us those questions. I figured they just assumed we were.
Oh, sorry. First child. I got those questions.
Well, I think that we worry as moms, as our kids become adults, that we're losing the connection. We're not needed as much. We're not going to be as close to them, and it's that's not it. In our experience, I think it's more just it's a change, it's a shift, and a lot of it's kind of fear and lament, and maybe mourn a little bit what we had, and we're unsure about what's coming.
Yeah. Well, motherhood comes in different seasons and stages of life, right? And it evolves and changes as our kids grow and evolve. Ecclesiastes, for everything there is a season. And yes, you can start singing the song.
I do every time.
Turn.
Exactly. I love that song.
But I love this, Lisa. This idea that, God doesn't ask us to mother our 20-year-olds the same way that we mothered them when they were 5 or 10 or 14. Yeah. So we have to learn to grow in our motherhood. And isn't the goal to launch them? It means we got to step back.
It is. Yeah. I've always said that my goal for them is I want them to be, I'll use the word happy, and I don't mean like, yay, skipping happy, but just content, self-sufficient, adults who are independent and, find joy in their lives and know that God loves them. I mean,
that's right.
Right? So it's still, we've been their moms their whole lives. It's hard to step back.
Okay. So what does that look like, Lise? How do we let go of them without losing that connection to them? I mean, if we completely step out of their lives, will they think that we've abandoned them?
I think it's how you do it, right? I mean, I'm not just suddenly going to not take their phone calls and their text messages.
Hang on, let me ask your daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got one texting me right now. So yeah, I'm not answering her right now though. But instead of like, there's different things like we're used, like, just like when they were 5, you mentioned, we used to have you done your homework? Let me check it. Here's how you write your letters, those kinds of things. It's just shifting. So we're not being asked to solve every problem. Yeah. Or maybe they're asking and we're not going to. Some are going to stop asking. Some are still going to ask. And then we have to take the step back and not ask. I mean, not do it. And maybe we don't just tell them what to do all the time and give them constant advice.
What? That is like what I'm supposed to do as mom.
I know. That's a hard one.
If they tell me something, I get to tell them back what I think, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, I would say and not monitoring every decision that they're making, like not be constantly up in their business like that. And there's sometimes, I will say with mine, when they start telling me stuff and then they're like, I didn't want you to fix it or give me stuff, and sometimes like, well, maybe I don't need to know all the details. Like, it's okay. If you want advice, I'm here. If you just want to vent, tell me you just want to vent. Like, but maybe I kind of like, don't get me involved in all the nitty gritty if you don't want me to help with the nitty gritty.
It is hard, especially for you and I, to listen more.
Listen more. That's a good one.
And then maybe ask them questions instead of, well, asking questions could come across as like you're interrogating them, but maybe you ask questions that show you're curious or you're interested without trying to give them advice, tell them what to do.
That's one I need to work on. My kids definitely think I'm interrogating them. Former lawyer here, right? Like they think I'm always interrogating them. Maybe it's my word choices.
No, probably. Yeah, I mean, because what we want is we still want to be their safe place to come.
Yes.
We just don't want to be seen as controlling.
Yeah. Well, you're also trying to teach them, I think, to spread their wings. You want them to rely on you, but they need to know that they are capable of making decisions and making mistakes and doing things themselves, trial and error, experiencing. Yeah. So they need to know that we're here. We love them. They can always call us if there's a problem. But you know what?
Try and
Give it a
figure it
shot.
out on your own too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So two things that come to mind there. One is fail. I wish Dad had told us this when we were growing up, that fail means first attempt in learning.
Oh, I like that.
First attempt in learning. It's not that you failed and you can never do it. It means that, okay, you found out something that didn't work. And maybe he said it that way. You found the way that didn't work. Now put your mind to it and figure out a way to do it that it does work. So, and the second thing that came to mind is that I keep seeing this reel. It's probably old. It's the actor Matthew McConaughey. And he's saying what his dad used to tell him. He'd say, I can't. And his dad would get this look and say, what do you mean you can't? You mean you're having trouble with something? Something is difficult and you need some assistance, not that you can't do it. And that again is all about the mindset. And that's what we want our children to evolve into, right? We want them to have that foundation of go out and try and be successful and use us as a sounding board. If they need some advice, they come and ask us. So we have to respect their boundaries and let them struggle.
And it's hard because we just want to fix it all. And we just want to make it better and pretty and, sorry, I just got done doing shelf paper at my son's new place. And I did it. He didn't know what shelf paper was, so I felt like I had to, but still.
I was just thinking what you were saying about we want to fix it all. I don't remember Mom and Dad ever always trying to fix things. And I find myself thinking about that a lot in how I relate to my adult daughters is, okay, what would Mom and Dad do? Or what did Mom and Dad do? Because they were a lot of these things that we're talking about. They didn't come and smother us when we were young adults and living on our own or post-college, but they stayed involved with our lives and they stayed curious. And yes, Mom did put in all the shelf paper in two of my houses. Not this one.
Mine too.
Two of my houses.
She did the one in this one too.
Yeah. I did the one in there.
Oh, you did mine. Okay. Somebody else did
your
mine,
kitchen.
for sure. Shelf paper's important.
Yes. Because all your drawers are the same width. Okay.
I know, it's great. Yeah, it is. It's hard. Curiosity, being supportive. I think also, well, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, something that Mom and Dad did. I think they were living such full lives of their own that helped them disconnect from constantly being in our business. Plus it was the 90s and it was harder to stay directly in contact when you were we didn't live in the same cities. So I think that kind of helped. I think
but you know what else?
Constant cell phones now make it difficult.
You know what else though? They raised us right. I really do believe that. I mean, one of my favorite scriptures, and this is one I got on a retreat that's always been close to my heart, and it's Proverbs 22:6. It's train up a child in the way he shall go, and he will not stray from it. And maybe that's another podcast we could do about the voices of our parents in our heads all the time. What we've learned, what our dadisms are or momisms are.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to see what our listeners think about their parents, what they used to say.
My gosh, one just came to mind, but I'm not going to say it.
Save it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But if we train them, if we raise them, at some point we have to trust them. We've been planting those seeds for years. We've got to step back and let God grow them. We've got to trust that He is present in their life, whether they're going to church or not, whether they're praying to God or not. We pray for them. You and your St. Monica, we pray for them.
Yeah.
We weep over them and we let God do the work.
And that is so hard, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, you were saying the Proverbs, you said, and they shall not, what was it? They shall not soar from it. What did you say? They shall not deviate.
I think I train up the child in the way they should go, and they shall not deviate. Wasn't the word, but they will not leave it or stray from it. I think I said stray.
You said stray. Yeah. I was just thinking about that, but sometimes that path is windy, and we might want to give it a little correction, or it's hard to trust because you can't see the big picture, the full picture, right?
Yeah.
You don't see the end. And so I think what you were saying about trusting God, that he's got it, and trusting Mary, and trusting your children to Mary, that she's watching over them and helping them too. Because I think we want to know, I always say, I want to know, like, where's the parenting handbook? Like, tell me, if I knew how it was going to end, I know that I was on the right path and doing the right thing. And now I've come to realize that, well, I've realized there's no handbook. Okay, it doesn't exist. Quit looking for it. But it's not about the end, because we're supposed to trust in the now, even though we don't know what the end is.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the journey. Yeah. So, well, we could sit here for a few minutes and talk about all the times in the Bible where mothers have gone through the same exact thing. But I'll just mention one or two. Hannah releasing Samuel, this child that I have prayed for, and then she has to entrust him to God, and she has to leave him there. So sometimes love means surrendering our children to God's purpose, not our purpose, not our comfort. And we can't cling to them so tightly that it interferes with how God is calling them to live their lives, or how he's calling them into a relationship with him that we don't see yet. Okay. And then let's not forget Mary.
Oh, I'm sure we've got a couple of examples from Mary, right?
Maybe one or two. Well, Mary started Jesus on his public ministry, mission, his ministry that would lead to the promise of the Father, the promise of salvation. And she doesn't force him. And that's what's really interesting. A lot of people talk about the wedding at Cana, how she tells him, hey, they have no wine. And he's like, what has that got to do with me? It's not my time yet. And she doesn't argue with him. She doesn't say, get in there and take care of business. Right. No, she just simply, I imagine her just kind of looking at him like, that's sweet. You think so, honey. And then turning and saying, do whatever he tells you.
Right.
Do whatever he tells you.
I mean, she trusted knowing that he had a mission and that his timing would be perfect in it, and didn't, like you said, didn't try to force the issue, but brought it to his attention that there was a need.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like we were saying, our role is not so much you do what I tell you to do. And instead we just kind of back off and trust that they're going to do the right thing. So, yeah.
Do you want to talk about Mary at the foot of the cross? Because that's another very...
Oh my gosh. How long do we have?
Powerful example.
Mary at the foot of the cross, I think, helps us deal with when our children are suffering, when they're on a pathway that we can't control and we can't help them. There's nothing we can do. We can't protect them, but we can be present for them and we can love them. I can't imagine what she felt, or the tears, the sorrow, the every cell in your body screaming in agony and sorrow. But sometimes that love has to be just a faithful witness, a presence, I'm here and I love you and I'm not going anywhere. And that might be one of the hardest things as our children age and move away and build their own lives, is that we have to accept that we have no control. And the more we try to control, the more we'll push them away, actually. So yeah, there's that. Yeah. Mary at the foot of the cross can be so many things, but that kind of fits with what we were saying.
I agree. And she couldn't rescue him. She was just present and loving him at the same time, and trusting in God and what he had planned for him. So I think
she knew he was there for a reason.
Yeah. The older we get with our kids, I think the more sense Mary makes to me. Like her, her as a role model. I identify more now that, my kids are older than when my kids were babies. So,
I guess the lesson here, the practical takeaway would be that we need to be present and bless them rather than cling on to, cling to them, like hold on to them. Because if we're afraid of something, then we want to control it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. 1,000% yes.
But if we are trusting, then we'll be a little more at peace, I think. And if we cling to them, it's going to strain the relationship with us.
Yeah.
So finding ways to bless them will help us to create that freedom and closeness with them as they go on with their lives. So,
or also clinging, if we cling too tightly, they might not become independent, and they might, not do what they're supposed to do, which is be their own people and create their own families. And that's something that we pray for and want for them. So, so how do we bless? You said practical. How are we going to bless them, Shell? Obviously, I think the first one would be to pray for them, right?
Yes.
For every step that and every time that we feel like we need to reach out and nag them or tell them what to do, to turn that around and give that to God and lay it at the foot of the cross, pray for them, and just see how they do.
Right. Remember, we're not managing them. We're trying to be a mentor now, not controlling their lives. So I think that if we speak positive words to them also, that we affirm their strengths. People respond well when you tell them what they're doing right versus what they're doing wrong. And the more you tell your child what they're doing wrong, the more upset they're going to get. Think about how if all dad ever did was tell you, well, that's what you're doing wrong. You don't call dad for a pep talk because when something's going wrong. You call dad for the pep talk because he affirms what he believes is good and true in you and what you are capable of doing. Yeah.
And the world beats you down. The world tells you plenty of bad things about yourself, about what's going on. And so they need a place of affirmation, and they need a place of love, and something that's just positive and can lift them up. And I'm not saying do stuff that's not real. Don't just puff them up, but tell them there's always something good and that you can tell them and affirm in them.
Right. And you're not affirming bad choices, but you do speak confidence into them. You remind them of the good things they've done and that what you believe in them, and that you're confident that they can overcome this trial or this hurdle, or that they're going to turn the situation around, or just that, you're confident that you're going to go out and take this new job and move into your new place, and you're going to be great. That's not to say you won't have hardships, but that you are going to have the tenacity and you have the core character to get through this.
Exactly. Avoiding constant criticism.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's hard. I have to bite my tongue sometimes not to. Are you sure you want to?
Are you sure that was the best choice? Did you think about that before you? Yeah, trust me. I know.
You and I sound alike.
I know. That's a hard one.
But the fun one is then when we get to celebrate growth, when we see them.
Yes.
Okay, my son does not listen to this, so I will out him on this one. I guess the last 6 weeks or so, he has shown more maturity, and he has started making his bed in the morning without being told or asked or passive aggressively reminded. Are you sure? No, anyway, I feel like he's kind of turned a corner, so to speak, in that. And I'm excited to see where it grows. And so I've actually told him recently how much it pleases me, not just pleases me, but, son, you're doing a great job. I'm so happy to see you taking responsibility in this way. And I really see you growing up, and I see the man that you're going to become in doing it in this way. And, sometimes it's a flippant, whatever. But sometimes he just looks at me like, oh, thanks, Mom. Thanks for noticing.
That's good, because you're right. We don't always acknowledge the growth. We focus on the things they're not doing.
Yeah. Now let's talk about cleaning your bathroom.
Whew, you have a lot higher expectations than I do. I was going to say, release unrealistic expectations.
Cleaning the bathroom is an unrealistic expectation. No, he'll get there. He's still young.
I say that's a good one. It's just they I have to release expectations that I have for them and let them set their own expectations. And hopefully they'll grow and change and develop and, whatever. But I'm not the same person I was at 20, 22, 24, 20. I mean, I'm not. And they won't be either. They will continue to grow. And I don't expect them, or shouldn't expect them to do things as a 52-year-old woman would.
Or to do them as 25-year-old you would have done.
I wasn't as perfect as you. So I think they're probably doing better than I was.
What? Oh my gosh. All right. That's a Friday night margarita conversation.
That is true.
As long as we drink like 4 cups of water afterwards so we can sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not margaritas, maybe like something else.
Oh. So anyway, and I think allowing them and their friends, allow their relationships to evolve naturally. Don't try and force them into certain types of relationships, or try to demand that they have a better relationship with others. Also, allow them to grow.
We were talking about praying for them. I think we also need to pray for ourselves and be gentle with ourselves to do these things and to remember them. And we're not going to be perfect either. And it's like you said, the relationships are going to change. Our relationship with our children isn't changing. And so we just keep God at the center of all of it and invite him into our relationship continuously. And just remember that God loves them more than we do.
What?
I know, right?
True. And doesn't feel real.
We trust that God has their best interests and he has a plan for them.
Yeah. I like that. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Lisa.
Yeah.
So you are so close to a full and empty house, and I'm
a full
2 down,
and
1
empty?
to go.
You mean a fully empty, right?
Yes. Fully. What did I say? I said full and empty. I'm so sorry. You're sorry. You're like 2 down, 1 to go. Let's go. Sorry, it's a baseball softball chair. 2 down, 1 to go, 2 outs, 1 out. Yeah, go ahead.
No idea. Go ahead.
So what remains when the house gets quiet? I think we've kind of touched on this already once or twice, but it fits in nicely with what we're talking about today. So the season of graduation, and I know for a lot of us, we still have the summer to still be around our children, and then they'll go off to college or move out into their own place. But it's not just about what we're losing. It's about kind of accepting what gift God has for us in our new season too.
I think a lot of us focus on their leaving, or maybe they're going to high school, and so their schedule changes and they'll be more independent, like all of that. Less of us, and they're more on their own. And we've given so much of ourselves to these decades of being their mother. And so I know a lot of women are apprehensive about it. What's it going to look like? I don't think I was apprehensive. I was excited. I mean, go back and listen to the podcast. Very excited. And it's been hard in different ways than I expected. But there's been some true blessings. And that's kind of what I wanted to say, was that since so much of our lives are freed up from sports activities and school activities and driving them everywhere, and as they are more independent or they've moved out, we have more time in our lives for like going deeper in our prayer life, which is something we have talked about on the podcast. Maybe different friendships. Our friendships are going to change, so we have to cultivate new ones. Maybe we rediscover what God's calling us to do. Maybe it's a change in career or vocation or volunteer work or, whatever. Maybe it's a chance to renew your marriage and to go deeper in your marriage. I remember, I've told my friends this, and they think this is one of the reasons why I've been looking forward to empty nesting so long, is that when we were young adults, Mom and Dad used to tell us that empty nesting, when our brother left and they were alone. They were still, of course, much younger than we are. When we were all out of the house, they said that was the best time of their marriage. They absolutely enjoyed it the most because they were, I think they'd been through, all the years of raising the kids. They had each other. They were more confident in who they were, being older, They were more comfortable in their marriage, and they got to just kind of explore things for themselves and enjoy. And I look forward to that. I think that's one of the reasons I've always looked forward to empty nesting, is that she always said as good as marriage had been, it got better.
Yes, you said that much younger than us. I started mentally calculating. I'll be 10 years older than mom and dad when I'm finally an empty nester.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe 11. So, oh well, it's still there.
It's
at least
coming.
I get the time when he's in school. So
Yes.
Anyway, well, motherhood is still motherhood, even when it looks different. You're still their mother. You're still going to be present, and you're still going to be the one that they call when they need something.
That is true. Mm-hmm. That is very true. Even if it's when they get in an accident and have to have surgery, and you drop what you're doing and you fly up there and hold their hand, not literally, but you go and sit by their bedside and try to baby your son who's much bigger than you. But he knew that I would come. So
You were present.
I was present. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Needed to be there. Let dad do the heavy lifting.
And he did, moving.
His dad.
No. Yeah. And he did, moving him home. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's funny.
Yeah. I would say we spent years kind of teaching them how to walk and teaching them how to do everything, write their names, feed themselves, all the things. And now we get the joy of learning to walk beside them. You and I always talking about being on a journey of faith, and God calls us to accompany each other, right? Now we get to accompany them as adults. And it's very different, and it's a new place for both of us, or for all of us. And it's scary and exciting, and we have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. So, listener, and I'll ask Lisa this too, but
okay.
And you don't have to answer it right now. You can just think about this one. Take it away and think about it. Think about what part of letting go feels hardest right now. If you've had a graduation, maybe they haven't moved out yet. Maybe they're still home for the summer and then going off to college in the fall. Maybe you're having difficulty realizing that they're going to maybe go out of state or move into a new place, and you aren't going to have day-to-day regular contact with them. Just, what part of that feels hard right now? Sit and reflect on that. And then think about how you can embrace it, or once you name something, then you're able to work with it. Mm-hmm. And then what would it look like for you to shift from directing your child to doing things to encouraging and accompanying them? For like Lisa and her son graduating and getting his first job, moving out. What does it look like for you to direct him? I mean, not direct him. So what does it look like for you not to direct him? but to speak those words of encouragement and affirmation for him, and then walk with him, not solve everything and point out all the things that need to be done. So
I'm answering in my head, but I'm going to be quiet about it. All right, Shelley, as we close today, maybe the invitation is for all of us is to remember that loving our children well in this season may look less like holding on tightly and more like trusting God faithfully.
That's true. Because graduation is not the end of a chapter, is not just the end of one chapter. I keep saying everything backwards today. Graduation is not just the end of one chapter of motherhood, but that means you're turning the page into a new chapter. So it's also the beginning of a new relationship with our children as adults, as more independent individuals. And we pray that that new relationship is one that is rooted in prayer for them and encouragement of them and the grace to accept who they are as adults.
I like that. So the reflection question I have for you this week: what words of affirmation does your graduate most need to hear from you right now?
It's a good one. All right. Dear listeners, thank you so much for joining us today on Of Sound Mind and Spirit. And we will see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.